get this match underway. The Cardinals and the Hurricanes in the ACC, and it is Miami on the board first. Louisville team that leads the league in aces, a very aggressive serving team, and a little bit too aggressive, maybe getting the best of the beer there. But Miami returns the favor in kind, a service error from Vach.
We talked about the powerful swings on both sides and the powerful offenses, and one way you combat that is to serve aggressively. So I'm sure that's on both teams' game plans tonight, but probably in the court would be a minor detail to that fact.
That would be ideal, I would say. Vach with the set to Carr. Louisville a bit out of sorts, and Charity Looper just has to send it over. Chance for Miami here. And the big swing comes from the right side, but it's hit out of play. Cologne with that swing.
And in this rotation on serve receive, Cologne's on the right side and Lopez, the lefty, is out here on the left side, but they don't hesitate to set her as an outside hitter. And that's a tough ball to defend with the lefty hitting outside. So look for them to go to that off of this next serve receive.
That aggressive serve mentality, which you see these two teams leading the conference, both of them in sets 1 and 2. But you see the double-edged sword there with a couple of service errors early on and then an ace for Louisville. There's the first swing for the freshman Lopez, and Kara Cressy for Louisville.
That was a fantastic transition for the Cardinals, being able to dig that lefty swing from the left side from Lopez into a ball that was able to finish fast with Cressy in the middle.
Cressy with 8 kills on Friday in the sweep of Florida State. DeBeer goes down to the floor. Louisville sets for Looper, and that's off hands for the point. And Louisville off to a flying start.
I do think that's Louisville's advantage in this game, is turning their defense into offense. Miami has the offensive firepower, but they don't do quite as good a job of playing defense and turning that into offense. They rely on their first contact, which they are not getting right now during this Elena Scott serving run.
A solo block for Looper, her 5th of the year, and it's Louisville in command early on over Miami.
We love our house. The outdoor space is great, but we do have invasive weeds.
Ranger! He's up here!
At least Geico makes bundling my home and car insurance easy. We save so much.
Stay away from my family!
For bundling made easy, go to geico.com.
To some folks, college football is a few humdrum hours on a Saturday. To the rest of us, it's sacred. It's a yearly pilgrimage to the hills of Rocky Top. It's having your own safe haven deep behind enemy lines. A place to reunite with your actual family of 5 and your chosen family of 105,000. So go on then, get together, and turn all those away games into home games in a Verbo all your own. Football away, baby.
Knowing how filthy Sid's wrister is means knowing why goalies lose 10 pounds of sweat every game. Knowing it's overtime against Connor McDavid is knowing the game's as good as over. Knowing the taste of victory is knowing it tastes best out of one particular cup. Knowing where the season's biggest events can be seen means knowing you'll never miss one. To know hockey is to love hockey. The NHL on ESPN and ESPN+.
Well, Charity Looper has been such a sensational addition to this Louisville team. And she was able to pull off the solo block for the final point heading into that timeout. On the season for Looper, 25 blocks in total now. That was her 5th solo block, and you see the 6-0 run. Been a couple of service errors, but Louisville is perfect in terms of attacking percentage so far. There's another service error for Louisville to give a point back to Miami.
And here we'll see a top spin serve from Cologne back at the service line.
Flor Marie Heredia Cologne serves for Miami, and that's an attacking error from Louisville. The first miscue that they've really had in terms of swings. They've had a couple of service errors, obviously.
You don't get to swing when you miss the serve, so it keeps your
point.
hitting percentage up.
There's an overpass, but Miami can't take advantage. Yardimchi went up for it and had every opportunity to score for Miami, but just put it over the line.
And that's one of those errors that you don't want, because not only was it a hitting error for you personally, but it took one of your great servers off the service line.
Aiko Jones with terrific effort to deny Lopez. They go right back to her, however, and there's an attack error for Miami. Aiko Jones, coming off of a great night on Friday, made herself known defensively here.
A fantastic dig here. You see Cressy gets a little piece of that block, so it kind of deflects, and Aiko's quickness really shows in that play.
And Jones serves. That one's off the fingertips of Aiko Jones. Yardimchi able to score, the native of Istanbul in Turkey. Been a regular player the last couple of seasons. Had over 200 kills a year ago. Halfway there, entering play today. Rosado, the service error for Miami. And two aggressive serving teams have had their fair share of errors early on. There's Lopez. Scott, as ever, up to it defensively. And the off speed from Yardimchi.
Both of Yardimchi's swings have been such quality. The one before, high off the block. That one just over the block. It just shows her maturity and ability to see the court. A lot of power swings coming from Miami, but then when the ball goes to her, we're working on placement. So what a great swing there and great addition to the team.
Yardimchi, the only player with a kill so far for Miami. She's got a pair. DeBeer looking for a kill here for Louisville. Can't quite come up with it. Terrific hustle from Cologne. Here's Kara Cressy, and that's off hands for a Louisville point.
Great hustle on both sides. As we said earlier, Louisville's doing just a little bit better job of turning their defense into quality offensive swings and getting swings from the middle. We see Cressy there able to capitalize on a big transition.
Briggy Petrenko comes into the game for the Cardinals to serve here. And there's another service error. Fifth combined between these two here in the opening set. Now Yardimchi behind the service line. That was in from Anna DeBeer.
And we talked about power tonight. You could hear that ball off of DeBeer's hand, and I think that is going to be the storyline of the Echoes in L&N Credit Union tonight.
DeBeer with 8 kills on Friday night. Back-to-back games with fewer than 10 kills for her for just the second time all season. Looking to avoid a first 3-game sub-10 kill streak today.
Vach with a great one-handed set there out to the pin.
Milana Moisio comes in to serve. DeBeer, a denial. Vach and Carr up for the block.
Vach's a super athletic setter, but no matter what, as a setter, you get just a little extra excited on a big stuff block of an All-American outside hitter.
Block just able to get that ball, but went over, and it is going to be a point to Miami. Although Danny Busboom-Kelly up to argue her case and her team's case. And you could hear her there. She says she's going to challenge that. Didn't even have to go to the card.
They're going to challenge that the Miami block was in the net, even though it was called a double contact. So one of the things that's going to be interesting here, too, that they're going to have to look at is the timing of everything, because the double is not challengeable. So the double was called, that is a given. However, if there was a net violation before the double in the play, that could be what ends the rally.
Can't say that there's anybody in the net for Miami. It doesn't look like anyway, Steph.
So I think one thing, too, we just heard someone behind us in the audience say as they're watching the screen that there was a touch. The blocker touched the ball, but that's not challengeable. So that's not something they can look at. They can only look at if there was a net violation before the double contact call.
And based on what we just saw, I would think the answer to that question is no.
I agree. I did not see. If anything, I think Ellie Glock might have been in the net on her landing. But again, that's after the double, and it's on the same team, so it doesn't change the outcome.
So the first challenge of the day results in a Miami point, and Louisville loses their first challenge. Call stands. And GBK not quite satisfied with the explanation that she's been given.
So what Danny is saying now is that she wanted earlier in the play during the triple block when Looper was attacking back row, and that's the play that she wants looked at for a net violation, not when Ellie Glock was up at the net.
So now we're going back to the monitor.
Yeah, but we're going back earlier, so in the same rally, so she can still challenge that, but in the same rally, and you see Elena Glock pointing to like, no, they were in the, or Elena Scott pointing to, oh no, they were in the net. So earlier in that play, there was a triple block out of the middle when Looper was attacking back row after, I think maybe Looper dug it actually, it came from a De Beers set from the left side of the court. We got to jog our memory for this one, right? So this is the one they wanted to look at a net, and I believe I see it. This is going to get a standing ovation from the crowd. What do you think?
I think so. There were some audible support after they went back to the monitor from the crowd for cheering on Busboom-Kelly for arguing the call even after the fact.
And there was a little help from the bench, too. So DBK has to be the one to relay it to the official, like, technically and following protocol. But there was a little help from assistant coaches here. Oh.
However, the call does remain. And Miami still gets the point, and Louisville still loses the challenge.
So the explanation was that it was hair that was in the net. So they looked at it a little closer than we did. I just saw the net move and said, yes, she was in the net. So it was hair in the net, which does not count. Thorough challenge.
It's good news to me that hair doesn't count. That one's off the tape and down for an ace after that elongated break. And Moisio able to score for Miami to continue that scoring run and get them back to within one. Louisville was well in front early, provoked a Miami timeout, but the Hurricanes have had a good response. There is another attacking error, this time from Cologne.
Good swing and good choice there by Cologne. Just missed the high hands of PK and Aiko, but that's a big block, so taking the high hand swing is the right call in that case.
Yeah, you see the 8 kills there for Anna De Beer. I say just 8 kills. She routinely can pile on the numbers. Out of the back row into the hands of PK. And Yardimchi, once again, she has been the most effective player on the court so far for either team.
And so very fun for Miami offense right here. You got Lopez and Yardimchi both as lefties swinging out of the back row. So one swinging out of right side and one swinging out of pipe. Lopez just came front row now, but in that last rotation, There was a lot of weapons.
No touch. Just another attack error from Cologne.
Every player on Miami's court and bench wants the challenge here, and we see Keno jumping right on it.
So another challenge, this time from Miami's bench, from Keno Gondara. And this one, watching it live, I had the same question, whether it was touched by a Louisville fingertip.
I think it's hard with the size of the Louisville block. Unless that ball clears by a lot, it's hard to say that they don't touch the ball.
And what I think you could also say about this challenge, with Cologne struggling right now, hitting minus 600 as it stands, 1 kill on 5 swings. This might just be a challenge that gives her some support and says, look, we want you to keep swinging. We want you to keep trying.
Yeah, and like we mentioned before,
so
it's the right swing.
Yeah.
And so I think that's another thing too, is continue to give her confidence that it's the right swing. Do we get an Aiko Jones pinky here?
That is the question. It appears to be anyway. Looks like PK is out of the play on the left of the two blockers.
Maybe a net cam view. I don't get to make those decisions.
I was about to say, you're taking your task at directing here.
Or officiating. Yeah.
That both at the same time. Really hard to tell, but it may just have touched that finger of Aiko Jones. Let's see what the call is. Remains a point for Louisville. It remains an attack error from Cologne. And Aiko Jones with a raise of the eyebrow. Maybe she knows that it actually touched her finger. A little bit of a guilty look. But just not enough evidence based on what we saw to overturn the call on the court. And that's the important distinction to make.
My guess is her pinky hurts right now. And funny enough, Aiko and I had this discussion during pregame, during their warm-up. We were talking about how they use signals now to tell DBK when to challenge and maybe a wink when not to challenge.
Interesting.
So it was very interesting.
There's Cologne perhaps trying to take out some frustration, but again, she's off target.
You see Grieve enter the game for Cologne. Again, you talked about she had taken the right swings, but had been unsuccessful on 3 in a row now.
Cologne hitting .225 on the season, has 5 attack errors so far in set 1 today. There's Lopez, the freshman, coming through to end that little drought for Miami.
And Miami's been stuck in this rotation multiple times, and Lopez out on the left has not been their first option. I think we'll see as the game goes on that Lopez on the left becomes their first option out of that rotation when Elena Scott is serving for the Cardinals.
The set seesawing just a little bit, but Louisville has led since that opening point. Lopez goes off hands. Louisville goes to Looper, and Looper able to strike.
Fantastic decision-making and timing there by Glock. Kara Cressy was up, and I think the whole gym thought that ball was going to the middle off of a great transition. Glock matched the timing with Cressy and gave Looper a single block.
That was it. Miami let it go, thinking it would be past the line, but that was in for an ace. And it extends the Louisville lead back to 5.
And man, we talked about the noise on swings tonight. That was a heck of a crack on the serve.
There's a big sound off the hands of Scott on the dig. DeBeer flying in out of the back row.
Another good choice from Glock. She could have forced the ball to the middle there. Kara Cressy was up in the air. There was also an Aiko Jones back row option, but she went with the fastest ball she could set, and that was DeBeer flying out of the back row.
Louisville starting to tighten its grip on the set, and they'll tighten it further as Kara Cressy leaps up for that overpass. So we head to a timeout called by Miami, their second of the set. You see there, Danny Busboom Kelly, her 7th season in charge of this program that was a strong program before she took over, but she has elevated it to a new level. Looking for her 20th win and her team's 20th win of the season if they can come through today against Miami. And you see the years of success that she's already put together. And then a bit further detail here on a year-by-year basis. The only season that she's not cracked that 20-win total was in 2020, and can't hold that against her when they only played 18 games.
Not fair.
Yeah.
So the other thing to mention here is that the way that this Louisville team schedules is not to pad these stats by any means. They had a really tough preseason, and they're always looking to take on the challenging match and see where they land at the beginning of the season. I don't think they've ever come into a season and said, oh, we need some confidence and some wins. They're always going for it right away, so that makes that even more impressive.
Just that one final hurdle to leap over for this program, and that would be the ultimate hurdle of a national championship. Come tantalizingly close each of the last 2 years, particularly last season as the national runners-up. But despite all that success, despite the seasons of winning, the 20-win seasons that she's had, this team this year still has to show up on a day-in, day-out basis. They can't afford to slip up against a team like Miami today, a team playing well in the league. Again, without a conference tournament, it is the regular season champion that takes the ACC. Miami out of the timeout scores.
And I like this out of the timeout. They got something out of the timeout. They ran something different out of their offense. They came on a little higher ball out of the middle here and were able to just give a different look for the Louisville defense.
There's a mighty swing from Looper on the left side, and Charity has her 3rd kill.
Again, credit to the passing of Louisville. The passing is so good, and Ellie Glock is able to hold for just a second, and that Miami block does not know where the ball is going.
Ball had some dip as it went over the net. Lopez, the lefty, with another lethal swing. See what she did on Friday with the 22 kills. Had 14 games with 10 or more over the course of this year. A freshman from Puerto Rico. Kara Cressy for Louisville, a redshirt sophomore from Fort Wayne, Indiana.
We just talked about the passing for Louisville, giving Ellie Glock multiple options. Elena Scott nails this serve receive, and Glock is able to run forward and throw this ball back to Cressy for a single block on the slide.
Kara Cressy 4 for 4 early on here. Ellie Glock heads to the bench with 7 assists. Miami goes to Lopez. She goes down the line, and it's pinpoint.
So I love that Miami runs their offense kind of pushed towards the left side of the court. You'll see Vach operating almost out of the middle of the court and really clears the way for Lopez when she's in right back to just fly through and land at the net.
PK. That's off the block. And Louisville inching closer to taking set 1. Ken Ogandara on the Miami bench was a terrific middle blocker in his playing days. Here's Louisville's middle blocker with the swing. Lopez off the tape. Where Dempsey pops it high into the air. overpass, and DeBeer dominates that ball for the kill.
We talked about firepower. There was nothing to say during that rally except for watch all the quality swings here. Aiko Jones hammers this ball down the line, goes straight back to DeBeer, and that's after a couple quality swings from the Miami offense during that rally as well.
Good set there from Vach to Grieve to score for Miami.
Vach's athleticism is huge. She's front row there, so you have to jump with her because she also can throw that ball straight down to score a point, but she saw the block up with her and is able to change to a one-hand set.
Angela Grieve, a redshirt senior, one of the more heavily used offensive players in the country last year. Hasn't had the opportunity to make an impact yet today until then. Here she is again, and it's back-to-back kills for Grieve.
Great shot from Grieve. She was pulled inside after the hustle play and got that ball thumb up straight to the sideline. Good hustle here from Lopez. She's pulled inside and she knows exactly where the hole is.
That ball just got some of that white paint. There's a chance for Louisville. PK had to hesitate in the air. She won't hesitate this time on the overpass. And Louisville on set point. Carr, that was off hands. Ashley Carr, the junior from Illinois, has a much bigger role this year than she did last year. She played just one match. And off to a decent start today with 2 kills. Looper to Rosado for the dig. Grieve, the swing was sent back. Miami goes to Lopez, and that was powerful once again off the fingertips of Aiko Jones. And Miami stays alive in the set.
Such a smart play there by Grieve. You talked about how it was sent back, but that was intentional from her. She brought that ball into the block and gave the Miami offense another chance to swing.
Oh, it falls in. A dubious way to end the first from Miami's. Miami had their moments in the first set, but after scoring the first point, never came back to regain the lead, and they will trail from the start of the second set here as Aiko Jones scores. Her first kill on the day after hitting double figures for the first time in about 3 weeks on Friday. Vach, another one-handed set, and Lopez goes to the off right hand. Louisville sets it to Jones again. That took a touch, as she indicates. And it's back-to-back kills for Aiko to start set 2.
And to defend her only 2 kills now, the rotations that Louisville has been in and gotten stuck in a good way with serving runs have not been with Aiko front row so far in set 1.
This time Louisville goes to Looper. And it's Lopez for Miami. Hit right at Glock. Looper again. Rosado can't keep it alive. Diving to her left. It ricochets into the stands, and Looper scores Louisville's 3rd point of the second set.
And you see Coach there saying you got to take a little bit more angle when she is off system. That ball's coming from the back row. Hard ball to swing line. That block's got to move into the cross.
Looper's 5 kills, a game high. And that's a 4th service error committed by Louisville on the afternoon. Reeves serves. PK swings, nearly came back to her. She'll jump up and send that one back as well. Here's a real opportunity for Louisville. Where do they go? They go to Jones. And she laces the ball down to the floor.
We touched on it just a little bit in the first set, but the big difference here is the quality of the digs coming from Louisville. This ball is right where they need it to have multiple options, and Aiko is able to hammer that ball down the line. Miami's doing a great job digging and touching balls from the Cardinal offense, but they're not up where their offense can thrive.
Miami goes middle there. Louisville equal to it. The looper can't take a full swing. That's off the hands of the Louisville block. Yardimchi scores once again. She was busy in the first set. Fourth kill for her.
And she's done a tremendous job of shot selection, seeing the world on that one. She's left-handed, so her angle is a little bit different to hit off the block on that outside.
And Bach couldn't control that one from Cressy. Takes a heavy bounce as she tried to go down to dig it.
And that's one of the ones where they get a good touch on the ball. They get the ball up, but it's not in play to continue offense.
Louisville's up 6-1 in the first set. They lead this one 5-2. Similar starts. That one did not take a touch from Charity Looper. She tried to go cross court. An attack error from Louisville. A rare one on the day, especially when you compare it to how Miami has fared. Just the third for Louisville compared to 7 for the Canes. And here's the block for Miami, their second.
Great job by Cassiano getting out there, and that ball was a low set to Looper. That was the only option Glock had, and Cassiano was able to finish right back into the middle of the floor.
Abby Cassiano, the grad student who is in her second year at Miami after transferring over from Syracuse, where she was a captain. It's Grieve out of the back row, right into the hands of 6'6" Kara Cressy.
Great discipline from Cressy on this block. There's multiple back.
Lopez. Can Looper get there? Not quite. When scrambling into the bench, everybody got out of the way. But give credit to Grace Lopez, the freshman, once again. Very decisive when she goes up into the air. There's Cressy again. This time from the right side.
And that's a fantastic serve from Yardimchi. Put Elena Scott on the ground, but Elena Scott's ability to go to the ground, scramble, and still put the ball right on the setter's head is fantastic.
Scott with 6 assists on Friday night against Florida State. Her third highest assist output on the season, but a player that regularly contributes in that category.
And I think as a former setter, she knows what the setter wants. So even if she's scrambling to pick a ball up off the floor, she's going to put it right on the setter's head.
And Louisville with the block. And it's Anna DeBeer. Anna DeBeer does a lot of things on the stat sheet. Blocking not necessarily her biggest strength. 19 blocks on the season coming in. Lopez powerfully swings once again. Every time she goes up, she seems to try to annihilate the ball. Here she does it again. And that was right down the line into the back corner.
You are right about the annihilation. And we talked earlier about them running more from the middle of the court here. And then she lands like she is a front row player and is able to just hammer that ball down the line.
I think the call may have been that it took a touch from Aiko Jones.
It was, yes.
To be clear. Block tried to call her own number and was sent back. Scott flying to the floor to try to keep it alive for Louisville, but it's Grieve with the block for Miami.
Glock just kind of ran out of real estate there. Both her and PK running the slide were getting really close to that right side antenna.
Block once again. Perhaps by virtue of the fact that it was almost an overpass, and Louisville out of sorts right now. And Miami, after trailing early in the second set, has come back to tie it now.
And Miami's done a great job. We've talked about them making the right choices down the stretch. And if they start to eliminate some of those errors, those right choices are going to pay off.
There's another overpass. Vach can't quite put it down. De Beer off hands. Gives Louisville the advantage once again.
But we see the tough serving start to pay off, too. A little bit of service woes for the Cardinals.
Vach the bump set. And Grieve is blocked. Jones and PK went up for it, and it's going to be Aiko Jones getting credit.
I feel like Grieve didn't make a decision in time there. We talked about her recycling the ball the last time, kind of getting easy into the block or trying to find a seam and go for power, and I feel like she didn't pick either.
What a dig from Scott. And that was on the line, but it's going to be a point to Louisville. Must not have been on the line off the block.
I think we need a counter of the number of times Scott is on the floor, because I feel like every play right now, whether she's touching the ball or not, in coverage and in defense, she is working to keep that ball off the ground.
Officially with 6 digs so far, Scott. Another hefty swing from Lopez.
Great dig there from Lopez, too.
Yardimshi unable to get it over the net. Tried to hammer it out of the back row.
She wanted that one, and it was the perfect decision from Vach.
Down 4, Miami takes a timeout. We'll take it as well.
Hey, Jake from State Farm. You know what's really scary?
Popcorn with no butter.
No, getting insurance. I mean, what if the jargon makes me feel alone and in the dark?
Hey, at State Farm, we're there for your what ifs.
Sorry. Is that seat taken?
Get on up here, buddy. Let's go. Let's go.
This one? Yeah, throw my cup of ale.
I saw. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Call or click to get a quote today.
I don't think it's any one thing that's memorable. The whole experience is memorable. You've been somewhere else, that's fine. Go Disney, you're not gonna go back. It's just as simple as that.
Larry, check this out. With On Deck, we could get a small business loan fast and start hiring more help right away.
Or Loan Cannon!
Why, Loan Cannon, why?
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. On Deck, the online lender that makes it easy to choose your loan and, if approved, get funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck.
It's strength on strength between these two teams when it comes to Miami's offense against Louisville's defense. Miami leading the league in kills, and Louisville with one of the best defensive records, limiting their opponents' kills over the course of the season. But right now, it's Louisville's defense that is making the biggest impact statistically, with Miami hitting sub 100 and Louisville hitting well over 300 right now. Part of the reason that Louisville has that set lead and has a 4-point lead in the second set. Look at Scott flying in just to keep the ball alive. Still the opportunity for Miami, but a miss set there from Vach. Jones tries to pounce, and on we go. It's De Beer to end it. 6th kill for De Beer, but a lot of credit to the woman you saw just a moment ago. There she is, Elena Scott.
And there couldn't have been a better rally to make your point coming out of the timeout. Those were great swings from the Miami offense, but the Louisville defense just a tad bit better.
Ooh. Scott couldn't control that one. That one almost shocked her the way it came right to her. Off the hand of Carr.
You know, at first it looked like she was shocked, but I think the actual look from Elena was, where did the ball go? I want to play the next contact.
Never giving up, even after it comes off of her face.
Because as soon as she saw that it was out of play, she was disappointed. The look of shock went away.
PK is blocked. Miami trying to put together a run and get back in the set.
Miami's block needs to pick up. That's a fantastic time to play there from Miami. We talked about their defense. That needs to start from their block.
Ooh.
Great dig from Vach.
Indeed it was. Now she'll set to Carr, and a great dig from Scott. And DeBeer just mishits it. Tried to change approach, I think, midair, and just couldn't quite pull it off.
We see Vach here getting this ball up. A little bit of a weird play from Lopez.
There's another one from Vach. Looper with a dig as well. I mean, this is some stellar defensive volleyball. DeBeer to the floor. But here's the chance for Louisville if they can have some clean passes. Glock goes to DeBeer, but she's blocked. Still Louisville scrambling to keep it alive.
I need a step counter on Elena Scott.
And Carr finishes it for Miami. What defensive play between both teams. And ultimately, it's Miami that prevails over the long haul.
Absolutely fantastic. Vach gets this pancake, and then DeBeer with PK getting the punch over the net. Fantastic rally. And Miami needed to win one of those rallies. Great play there.
And they get an ace on the heels of it to tie the set at 13. Pass was just a bit off from Glock. But Louisville able to come through with the block to score. Aiko Jones and PK have been involved in a few blocks today, each of them with a pair on the afternoon.
This is the rotation with Lopez hitting on the left as the lefty for Miami. Look for them to go to her first ball here and try to get out of this rotation.
Ooh. We have seen some heavy swings today. There's one from Carr.
Never a bad decision to capitalize with your middle on a fantastic serve receive pass. Your Jimchi and Lopez both front row for the Hurricanes.
Ashley Carr playing a larger role as a middle with Janice Leao out due to injury over the last few weeks since early October. And she's having herself a nice day with 5 kills, hitting 500. Looper also having a nice day. That's her 6th.
I love Looper running the little bit higher ball on the outside and just watching her elevate up over the block.
3 players leading Louisville with 6 kills apiece. Looper, Cressy, and DeBeer. Looper trying for number 7, and she'll get it. And she's checking on her opponent here. We've seen some really heavily hit balls back and forth, and some good sportsmanship there between Carr and Looper.
The number 4s.
That's right.
Meeting at the net.
Literal opposite numbers.
But Carr did catch this one. She's a middle, and she had transitioned off on this overpass, and it did catch her right in the side of the face.
Well, this is one of the rare times that I think you and I can gloat a little bit, because coming into the broadcast, we tried to hype it up that there would be fireworks and some dynamite swings. We've had a bunch of them, and we're only halfway through.
And credit to the Louisville crowd here, giving Carr a round of applause. And she looks like she's all right. It stings, though. Been there a few times.
It'll come to Lopez, and Cressy wins the joust for Louisville.
Poor Carr just ended again with Lopez tripping over him. Here's a replay of the fantastic sportsmanship from Looper to Carr. She says, "I'm sorry. Are you okay? I'm sorry." I'm sure Carr's hit her fair share of people. We've seen her crack a couple balls tonight.
Service error from Elena Scott ends the 3-0 Louisville run.
Carr got a nice ovation to the bench, too, after being tripped over and hit in the face. They were all giggling.
And in kind, Miami returns the service error with Yaidalis Rosado.
And we have seen the tough serving pay off. It doesn't always show up on the stat sheet. They haven't all been aces, and obviously the airs do show up on the stat sheet. But I think in the second set, the serving for both teams has really paid off in slowing down the offenses.
And on the heels of those errors, we have an ace. And Keno Gondara can do nothing but watch.
I think he's looking at a way to adjust the serve receive just a little bit.
Louisville by 4, and Miami at risk of letting them gain control. Look at Scott flying around again. But then ultimately for Miami, Cassiano comes through.
Miami did a good job of finishing on that easier ball from the Cardinals offense. You have to start seeing balls in this match as opportunities. If the other team doesn't take a big swing on it, you have to see that as an opportunity to capitalize. Like this ball right here.
Where do they go? They go back to Cassiano. But it's Scott that digs it out. Heavy swing from Jones. Yardimshi denied. Grieve out of the back.
Another opportunity.
Oh, and just a missed set. A
Some
rarity.
Sweat on the ball, I'm sure.
A rarity from Savannah Bach, one of the best setters in the country. Over 4,800 assists in her career, including well over 800 on just this season. Not often that you're going to see her have a miscue quite like that. And on the heels of the miscue, she sets that up perfectly for Cassiano.
Good by Abby Cassiano. And Yardimshi to serve.
Cassiano quite efficient on the year, hitting .331. Yardimshi an error from behind the service line. And CC Rush, the service specialist, comes in for Louisville. As always, getting a big hand, a local product from across the river. And Grieve goes cross court for Miami. And Rush, fresh into the game, couldn't get low quick enough.
And another fantastic set by Vach there. She held the middle with Cassiano. We've seen the last couple sets go to Cassiano in transition. Was able to hold the middle, time it perfectly, and get Grieve a single block.
The set comes from Scott, and it's perfect to Anna DeBeer. Two All-Americans connecting for the kill.
And Scott is having herself a night, covering, serve, receive, defense, and adding some assists. And talk about stuff that doesn't show up on the stat sheet. I think we said earlier we need a step counter and a dive counter on her instead of just stats. Wow.
That's all you can say. The way this game is being played, it is high-octane volleyball. And it was Lopez initially from the right for Miami. The play finished off by Jones from the Louisville rights. Miami coming in on a 4-game winning streak, and it is by virtue of their offense primarily that they have been able to win these 4 games, but they're also limiting their opponents significantly defensively with that low hitting percentage.
And I would say a big credit to holding that hitting percentage is their tough serving that we've talked about a little bit tonight. When you put your opponents off system right away, and then you are able to finish when you get those opportunities. So serving tough, your opponent brings back an easy ball, and then they're able to capitalize right away and not let that ball cross the tape more than 2 or 3 times. That's where some of these huge stats are coming from. That's not exactly what we're seeing tonight. We're seeing a little bit more pressure be put on the Miami defense as that ball's crossing the net 3, 4, 5 times in the rally, and those are the ones where Louisville's getting the advantage.
You saw that significant victory over Georgia Tech in a sweep a couple of weeks ago. This is the start of a very difficult stretch for the Canes, facing number 4 Louisville today. They'll face, including today's game, 4 ranked opponents over their final 7 games of the season. And for a team that's been in the NCAA tournament the last couple of years, but has not yet been able to make it past the second round under the leadership of Keno Gondara, a huge opportunity in October into the month of November to really pad that resume and show that they deserve to be one of those 5 or maybe 6 or 7 teams out of the ACC that cracks that NCAA tournament field.
Yeah, and without an ACC tournament, I don't really think they have a chance to get in that top spot in the ACC, but they do have a big chance of making this NCAA tournament and being a team that no one wants to match up with in the first round.
As evidenced by what we've seen today, a very dangerous team if you are not ready to play defensively. Reeve just off the hands of Aiko Jones.
And Vach is just so composed. This was not a fantastic set. It was a bump set, but she was a little bit off balance, and instead of trying to do something weird, she just bumps at the ball out to Grieve.
Service error, though, gives Louisville the point, and Louisville has the opportunity to take that commanding 2-set lead despite the success that Miami has had in this match. Louisville has led most of the way. And it's an ace to finish off set 2. DeBeer does it for the Cardinals. And so we will head to the intermission with number 4 Louisville looking for their 20th win of the campaign, ahead 2-0 over the Canes from Miami.
Leftovers again?
Easy dinner for 2.
And only 2.
Pillsbury cheesy chicken bacon ranch crescent rolls. They're as easy as fill, roll, and bake.
It's been a while since I joined the Clean Plate Club.
No kidding.
Fill, roll, bake. With Pillsbury.
To some folks, college football is a few humdrum hours on a Saturday. To the rest of us, it's sacred. It's a yearly pilgrimage to the hills of Rocky Top. It's having your own safe haven, deep behind enemy lines. A place to reunite with your actual family of 5 and your chosen family of 105,000. So go on then, get together, and turn all those away games into home games in a Verbo all your own. Football away, baby.
Liberty Mutual customized my car insurance, and I saved hundreds. With the money I saved, I started a dog walking business. I was a bit nervous at first, but then I figured, it's just walking, right? Oh. No, it's just funny! Calm down, Taco. Sit, that's just, stop. Sesame, no, Walter, don't. No, please. You're lucky you're so cute. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Here we are, the best seat in the house every single Saturday. Guys, it is a privilege to cover the ACC.
I could not sleep last night. I'm so jacked up.
It's obviously a big game. Come on, show everybody what you're about. This crowd is worth it.
This crowd is awesome. Wolfpack's going to be howling all night.
Uh-oh. It's the Southeast Mini Golf Mixer Champs.
Anything cool this weekend?
Mark.
Mark,
I just stayed in.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cleveland or South Beach. Be the real you.
Welcome back to this Sunday afternoon ACC Tilt. Two teams near the top of
Big Ten Conference Tournament over Thanksgiving weekend after you eat some turkey and you just want to lay on the couch.
I think your point, as Louisville scores to open the third set off the block, from the block of Aiko Jones once again. She's having a strong afternoon after a really terrific evening on Friday.
And this is a fantastic block from her. She's actually a little bit late to the close and finishes back to the middle of the court to not get tooled.
But I think your point, just quickly to wrap it up, as Miami scores to tie it, about volleyball being on television more and more and more. Who wouldn't want to see those high-stakes conference tournament games leading into the NCAAs? It's what we see in basketball every single year, and it's absolutely thrilling television to watch. So we might just see that in years to come across college volleyball. Service error gives Louisville the lead once again.
And from an individual player standpoint, I think that's where heroes are made. That's where you realize and you remember those names from the conference tournaments along the way back in the Big East basketball days and things like that.
Cologne, by the way, just her second kill on the day to score for Miami earlier in the set. And Yardimchi, who's been consistent over the course of this afternoon, comes through here, the lefty.
We talked about the lefties hitting off the left side, and two things that they have is that line shot and then the really sharp cross the body shot that's tough to read.
Cressy almost alligator armed that ball across the net, but able to do it. And we should point out, by the way, that Janice Leao, the grad student from Massachusetts who's had a stellar career, led this team in blocks multiple seasons, is into the game for Miami. She's not played since October 6th against NC State. She was cleared ahead of this one, was questionable whether or not she would come into the game, and she has. So Miami unloading their options off the bench here to try and keep this match going here in the third set and avoid a sweep. Aiko Jones, how about her weekend? Make it Halloween weekend every weekend for Aiko. It's no disguise, though. She's got a lot of ability, and she has an ace here.
I think there'll be a few fans in the stands going as Aiko Jones for Halloween. What do you think?
Couldn't quite pull it off back-to-back. It's an error off the tape.
Now serving for Miami, number 23, Grace Lopez.
Looper. Yardimchi. And Looper will have to bump set it over. Here's an opportunity for Miami. Where do they go? They go to Leao, and perhaps the rust showing itself there. Bach and Leao just not on the same page. So now the chance for Louisville. De Beer has to take a lot off it. Rosado going flying to the floor. Lopez has to set it over. Not quite the swings that we saw early in this match, in this set. But there's a swing from Looper off the hands of the Miami block to score for Louisville. An extended rally, but Louisville ends it with the point.
We mentioned earlier when that ball crosses the net more than 3, 4, 5 times during the rally, the advantage really shifts to Louisville.
Jen Ogondoro wants a longer explanation about something from that last rally.
I'm wondering if he's maybe talking about different times that Elena Scott used her hands to handset in that rally. If any of those, he thought maybe she was over the line.
Oh, what a dig from Scott again. A lot of eye-catching stuff today. And once again, the connection just not there between Vach and Leao. Again, Janice Leao not played since October 6th. Into the game for the first time here in the third set. And twice, Savannah Vach, one of the best setters in the country, tried to get it to her, and twice they couldn't quite make the connection happen.
And I'm pretty sure what Coach Keno just said there was, why are we trying to run a slide? It's the hardest thing to connect on from a middle and a setter. You haven't worked together, and you're running a slide. You saw her go 31 on that last ball.
And hit the antenna. Going to be a point to Miami on the swing from Cressy. Leao with a couple of good defensive touches for that point, though.
But also to your point earlier about their upcoming schedule, I do think even if it means a few errors, a few communication situations right now, I do think it's great to get her back into the game right now because they have some big games coming up. And if she can play at the speed that this game is going, she can play full speed at some of those upcoming matches.
Looper just overhit that one for the Miami point. But it's a great point you make about Leao. And a match that's started to get away from Miami, trailing 2 sets to none. Get her some experience against a top-quality opponent because you got a lot of top-quality opponents coming up in the schedule.
And you need her full speed during those matches.
Cologne can't believe the call.
They're begging Coach for a challenge, but I think he's right here. I think I would save my challenge in this case just because those touches are so hard to see and he only has one challenge remaining.
Petrenko in to serve for Louisville. Player that has a ton of experience in her career, but has come to Louisville and occupied a role off the bench. And Louisville not quite on the same page there. Reese Robbins also in the game. Gives that man's team a little bit of a lifeline in the set.
In adult volleyball, we would say they called their own double. So they didn't like that set and kind of stopped playing, which ironically is kind of what you do in practice, but not what you want to do in the game.
There's De Beer. Precise from Anna De Beer for her 8th kill. Tied for the team lead with Looper and the game lead overall.
She brings it every night, but I feel like she has really brought the power tonight to match the swings of Lopez from Miami.
And you see there, neither team particularly efficient here in the third set. There's Carr. Ashley Carr. Kill number 6. And she, despite the lack of efficiency from her teammates, has been incredibly efficient. 6 kills on 12 swings.
You see how fast she's driving there and that fast arm to finish.
There's a fast arm. Aiko Jones. Whatever she's been doing the last couple of days, whether it's the routine or the menu or whatever it is, keep it going. If you're a Louisville fan, that is.
And this is what Louisville needs out of Aiko Jones. She has been a top performer for them over their runs the last few seasons and truly had had a slower start to this season.
They had a really difficult night last weekend against Virginia Tech, played in just 2 sets in the game, but has rebounded nicely this weekend from that performance. This time, she batters it off the hands of the blockers and into the official. For the point, I should point out. Aiko stat stuffing tonight. 6 kills along with 6 digs. 3 blocks as well. And she couldn't pull that one off. Wanted to really badly. Yardimshi with the kill off hands. Yardimshi this season, 4 games with 10 or more kills, but hasn't had a game like that since late September. Needs a few more to hit double figures today. There's an attack error from Looper.
Great set there from Glock with Looper coming out of serve receive, but she's a front row attacker. And it was pretty deceptive, but Looper was a little bit off the net and hit too far straight down.
It's back to Jones. The pass was a bit off. Yardimchi. Oh, look at Glock going to the floor. Lopez.
Great dig from De Beer.
Oh. Scott went flying down. You thought that ball would have been relatively comfortable for Louisville, but it comes ricocheting off of that attempted dig. And Miami has their first lead since the first set on the first point of the afternoon.
That was a missed serve by Anna De Beer.
The attack error gives Miami a 2-point cushion for the first time on the day as the fans raise the noise level, trying to turn this set around. Looper tries to oblige, can't quite do it. Cressy and Jones thought they had the block, but great stuff defensively by Miami. Here's Cressy again. Rosado.
Opportunity ball here for the Cardinal offense.
Rosado again. My goodness. Cressy sent back, and it is a block for Leao. So many highlights in that rally.
The defense, we've hyped up the offense this whole time, but the defense during this rally is just phenomenal. Covers, touches, one-handed balls.
Really good stuff from these two teams, and it is a dead heat in the third set. Miami leads it right now by 3.
We don't just have everything. We have your thing.
Mr. Pilgrim dressed in gray. Where will you be on Thanksgiving Day? Running around Planet Town, there's nowhere to hide. Do you like your turkey baked, or do you like it fried?
Let's eat. Thanksgiving, exclusively in movie theaters November 17th.
I loved everything that I heard about Chime. I just didn't know how it would work without having a physical branch to go into. But Chime has more than 60,000 fee-free ATMs, so whenever I need cash out, I just open up the Chime app and click ATM app. I love the fact that I can go into any Walgreens and deposit cash for free. The best thing about Chime is being paid up to 2 days early. As the budgeter in the family, I want to know where our money is, how much is being spent, and knowing those numbers is really important. Join me on Chime at chime.com.
For a long time this afternoon, Louisville was a picture of offensive efficiency, hitting well over 300, but that's taken a dip over the course of the afternoon, down below 200 overall, and that's due in large part because they're below triple zeros right now in the third set. And that's part of the reason why Miami has this 3-point cushion, trying to extend the match.
And that's been credit to both of these defenses. We touched just before that timeout that we've been hyping the offenses, and the swings are big from both sides, but the defense in the last 2 rallies has been fantastic.
Aiko Jones has been a busy woman today, and she stays busy here with her 7th kill.
Ellie Glock here with a fantastic set. She took the hard set back to Aiko Jones as she was leaning forward towards the middle of the court.
And that number for her, 538, is the polar opposite of what her team is experiencing right now. Can Louisville find a run out of the timeout, or can Miami continue to lead the way in the set? Rosado and Yardimshi going into the scorer's table to keep it alive. Leao, a heavy hit. Scott will retrieve it, and De Beer will bump set it over. Chance for Miami here. Yardimshi denied by De Beer on the dig. Here's Looper, and Looper leaps and lifts Louisville to within 1 in the set, and also lifts these fans onto their feet.
That is exactly what that rally deserves, just a standing ovation.
Nearing a double-double for Charity Looper. Would be her 3rd of the year. She can get another dig and another kill. Lopez. I mean, if this were baseball, she would be a pitcher that throws only fastballs.
That's exactly right. I think she tipped one time, but in order to do so, she ran with her arm up the whole time and tipped the ball over. It was like she decided to pitch underhand for 1 ball.
Oh, did that dip in? It did not. Looked close.
Yeah, I think if the sides were flipped right now and that was on, if the Miami bench was on Louisville's side and could have seen that end line, they would have challenged that ball.
Well, despite the call going for
Just
Louisville.
a little rotation confusion here for Louisville.
It's going to be Cressy that has to come off for Petrenko here. Or maybe not.
I don't know if they can do that. So they subbed, but then, yeah, that's what. Okay, so what happened was they subbed because they thought they were in the next rotation, and
right.
The next server was there, and then they just unsubbed, I think.
So naturally,
which is
Ken
not
Ogandara is a bit
legal.
frustrated. Yep.
So if they had done the sub and had to keep it, then that would be Petrenko playing middle in Cressy's spot, which would be a huge advantage to Miami right now.
So Louisville may be a bit let off the hook there. Yardimshi from the left, and that's out of play. A big celebration from Aiko Jones, who had a good look to see that one go over the line.
Now, what very well could have happened is Danny Busboom-Kelly could have asked for the rotation check before they actually processed the sub, even though the players were running around the court. So what technically happened and what we saw happen may not be the same.
Opportunity for one team to take the lead. De Beer trying to do it for Louisville. A bunch of players hit the floor for Miami. And an awkward one from Cologne over. There's Aiko Jones to give Louisville the lead.
I'm very impressed tonight with Ellie Glock's setting and her setting decisions. She's done a couple times tonight of taking the harder set, the longer set across the court, and really keeping the Miami block on their toes.
Here's a chance for Louisville. They go to Cressy, and that's a point to the Cardinals. Looked for a moment like Miami was going to be able to block it, but it went into the net, and they couldn't keep it up.
Oh, we had the kick, though. She almost got it up, yeah. So we've talked a lot about the big swings on both sides of the net, and I think then credit to Glock. We're talking about Glock playing so well, but is that because of Vach on the other side? You know, big swings lead to more big swings from the other side. Big digs are leading to big digs on the other side, and I think we're seeing the same in the setting battle.
We've alluded to it a couple of times, but Miami with a gauntlet coming their way over the final stretch of this ACC slate. They've already got a victory over Georgia Tech, a ranked opponent, and they'll have another crack at the Yellow Jackets in a few weeks' time. But before then, they'll visit Pitt. They'll take on Pitt at home, I should say, then visit Pitt in late November. And they just kind of snuck in, the schedule makers, that rivalry against Florida State, another really good unranked team in the ACC, right in the midst of all those ranked games. So it is a brutal stretch to close out for Miami.
And as you said, I think that game with Florida State is actually the key game on this upcoming schedule for rivalry purposes and for seeding in the ACC standings, which will lead to those NCAA tournament berths.
You know, those two teams, Miami and Florida State, are kind of battling it out for that middle of the pack position, just in that second group behind Louisville, Pittsburgh, and Georgia Tech. Here's what the Cardinals have. They too have a bunch of ranked opponents coming up, notably Georgia Tech in their next game down in Atlanta. 2 matches with Georgia Tech yet to come. And then it's always a grudge match these days when the Cardinals and the Panthers and Pitt come together. So a lot of people, not just in the ACC, but around the country, will have that November 18th game up in Pennsylvania circled on their calendar.
And I would say out of all people, that game is marked on Pitt's schedule. They got swept 3-0 at the KFC Yum Center this year, and I'm guessing that the next game at Pitt does not go down quite like that for the Panthers.
And obviously that's on the heels of a match of the national semifinals between those two last year. So Pitt will really want some revenge in that one. Back underway, out of the break, and Lopez able to score off the block of Louisville.
I think Cressy may have taken that ball to the face or hit herself in the face because she's hurting at the moment.
So that point for Miami cuts the Louisville lead back to 1. There's DeBeer. Experience had fewer than 10 kills. Leal. They say it was touched. Louisville looked like they were protesting initially, but then after the call comes in.
They were trying to hide it at first, but once the call came in, they knew they were caught. And every Miami player was signaling, so I believe on their cover, they all saw it.
And for Leal, that's the first kill for her. Again, a player that's been out of action for a few weeks due to injury. And a big, impactful player for this Miami team. Louisville goes to DeBeer once again. And it's another point to the Canes. Heredia Cologne.
Cologne finally got that ball off the block that she's been looking for. And what better time than now?
She had 5 errors in the opening set. Has cleaned it up a bit later on now with a couple of kills here in set 3. They'll set to her again, but it'll be a violation for a double contact. And it's a point to Louisville to give them the lead once again. And despite Miami being neck and neck with Louisville in this set and going punch for punch with the Cardinals, Louisville nearing a sweep.
Good rotation here, though, for Miami. If they can get out of this one, then they have Lopez headed back towards the front row.
Block with 28 assists serves here for Louisville. Heredia Cologne gets it over. Chance for the Cardinals. They go to Jones. And how alert was that from Aiko? We've seen her do it a time or 3 over the course of the year. Just baited everyone to think she was going to go down the middle or to the right, and instead went cross court with the delicate touch.
So everything is over here on this side of the court, and as a defender, your eyes all get sucked over there, and she's able to reverse directions and find the other side of the court.
And now the block for Louisville. Their 8th of the afternoon. Gives them the 3-point cushion.
Huge here for PK. She had to jump with Vach because she's front row, but she was still able to close at the last minute and bait the middle into hitting into Anna.
Lopez flying in. And an awkward one from Ellie Glock results in the double contact, giving Miami another lifeline. Louisville was threatening to run away with it.
I'm going to defend both setters quick in these doubles. The ball's going back and forth so many times over the net. All those touches put sweat on the ball. And then we're digging these huge swings up to the ceiling with spin on them and asking these setters to run across the court and set them. Not an easy task.
Here's kill number 10 for Anna DeBeer. Yet another double-double for her. And her double-double total is into double figures, her 10th on the season.
Look for Miami to use Lopez here.
Ooh. Another just missed touch there from Bach, a rarity. Tried to be creative with the one-hand set overhead. Couldn't quite pull it off. And Louisville 3 points away from this sweep over Miami. A very game Miami team, a dangerous, talented Miami team with the top 5. Number 4, Louisville, so far in control. Mentioned earlier in the broadcast that today is an important day for college volleyball as a whole. That's because we'll get another peek at what the NCAA committee is thinking. Just a little preview of their top 10 coming up in about 30 minutes time at 3 o'clock. You can watch that on ESPN2. And a look at what the other important dates are to come. The full selection show coming up on November 26th before the first and second rounds of that NCAA tournament at the end of November into the first week of December. If you're on a team right now on this Sunday afternoon, obviously a lot of teams in action, but if you're happy, or if you happen to be sitting on the couch, are you anxious? Are you excited about this top 10 later this afternoon? How do you feel about it?
I don't think it has a ton of stake, because one of the ways that they do these is if the season ended today. And I think pending 2020, we learned that the season's not ending today. There's a lot more to go, but I think it does inspire you maybe to play these next couple games and to see if you can move up or down, and kind of it gives you that locker room material of how you want to change the way your season's going.
Also, if you feel like maybe you deserve to be a little bit higher after the rankings come out.
Yeah.
Right, it's the locker room material, exactly what you're talking about. So there's a lot going into, or rather a lot that will come out of what we see this afternoon, potentially, for teams among the elites across the country.
And I think in a fun way, it puts a little bit more importance on your upcoming November games.
Just setting the benchmark for what is to come in the month of November. Out of the timeout, Miami goes to Carr in the middle. Leao out, Carr back in, and Carr comes through. Kill number 7 for her, second on the team behind Lopez, who has 9.
And Carr's had a great night, just working hard for Miami, being in the right spots, taking the big swings when needed.
Heredia Colon continues to have one that she will likely want to forget with a service error in a crucial moment. Louisville 2 points away. Lopez off hands. Don't think we've seen her take anything off a swing even once today.
I told you the one time that she ran with her arm in the air, but that was it. There was one back row attack where she was going to be over the line and she had to stop and set it, but we're talking out of multiple attempts.
30 swings in total for her, just 3 errors, pretty efficient. 233 hitting percentage. Block overhead to Jones. Talk about taking something off. Aiko with a changeup to give Louisville a match point opportunity.
And you see Aiko there hugging Ellie Glock and say, sorry, I didn't think you were going to set me, because that was another fantastic set from Ellie Glock, changing direction for the offense.
And so Aiko Jones, on the heels of that kill, will serve. And it's Charity Looper with the dunk to finish it. And Louisville has swept Miami for their 20th victory of the season, their 8th straight, and their 11th in the ACC.